Hey, what's up, guys? It's Uchiha here, back with the next part of What If Naruto a Mother's Love. I have already uploaded the final part of What If Naruto was separated from his family. If you haven't checked that out, please check that out as well. And yeah, guys, without further ado, let's continue with our story. It had been 7 days, and in that time, there had been no sign of Sabusa or his partner. They were still all waiting at the dinner table and sitting. The members of Team 7 were all joking and laughing with one another. Kakashi was telling what sounded like a tall tale of how he had once spotted Jiraiya peeping at the women's bathhouse, back when he was still a stiff-necked canin. So I tell him he's breaking the law and that his behavior goes against the ninja code. What happened next? Kiba asked eagerly. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. Well, he started doing this weird dance, hopping about on one leg, telling me how he was great and powerful ninja. Naruto laughed. Oh yeah, I remember that. Mom calls that dance the Purvis Shuffle. So what happened next, Kakashi-sensei? Hinata asked curiously. Well, I tried to perform a citizen's arrest and we start arguing when who should come out of the baths in nothing but a towel, but Tsunade. Godmother? Naruto bursted out. Kakashi chuckled and nodded. They were same. At the time they were still teammates. Well, of course, the second she saw him there she knew that what he's been up to and proceeded to beat him pretty much within an inch of his life. No way, Kiba exclaimed. Akamaru barked in disbelief as well. Did that really happen or is it just another one of your silly lies? Naruto spoke and looked at Kakashi with suspicions. Kakashi looked earnest. Oh, come on now. Have I ever lied to you? Yes, all three of the students shouted in one voice. Immediately, not only Tazuna and Tsuzumi, alongside Team 7 burst out laughing. Inari sat there miserable as he began to weep. Slowly, Hinata was the first one to notice. Inari, are you alright? She asked with a concerned tone. Why are you crying? The laughter dissipated and all eyes turned to the boy. A few days earlier, Tazuna had explained how the boy's father figure, a hero in the eyes of his, had been executed trying to oppose Karo and his goons. You're all idiots, the boy declared loudly. You train and you patrol, and what good do you think it will do? No matter what you do, you will never be a match for Karo's thugs. You all act cool and talk tough, but big strong guys like that are always too much for the people weaker than they are. They'll destroy you. Kiba and Akamaru growled, but Hinata put her hand over his and sent him a warning look. Naruto leaned back in his chair and looked at the sobbing boy. Seriously, but currently, we are not weak, Inari. We are all ninjas of Konohagakure. If we seem confident, it is because we are ready to protect your grandfather and fulfill our mission, whatever the danger is. And because we believe and have faith in one another, we are our team. We are one. And come what may, we will stand by each other and by your grandfather as well. Just watching you ticks me off. You laugh and you joke like all this some stupid game of yours. And you try to act like you have all the answers. You don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know how to think about suffering or loneliness, what my life is like. Naruto looked at Inari and thought about Haku. He felt the same sympathy for Inari as he did for Haku. That's true, Inari, Naruto answered quietly. I won't pretend to understand the pain you suffered or your loneliness, but I do know what it's like to weep. There's nothing wrong with tears, Inari, if they come in honest grief. But at some point, the tears have to stop and you have to act. If things are wrong, then you have to try and change them. What would you know about it? The boy shot back. Your grandfather is with you right now because we chose to help him. We could have gone home when we found out that his mission was going to be a whole lot tougher than we expected, but we didn't. We are here now to help your grandfather and everyone else in the lands of Wave. We will put ourselves in danger to try and help others. Isn't that what heroes would do? He paused. Isn't that what your father would do? Shut up! Inari ran from the table. Please excuse me. Tazumi got up and left as well. The table was silent for a moment. Naruto, Kakashi asked quietly. Yes, sensei? Kakashi looked at him sadly. You sounded very much like your father just then. Naruto nodded in deep appreciation. Thanks, Ni-san. Kakashi looked at him. Alright. I'm well enough to return to duty. Tomorrow, Hinata, Kiba, and I will accompany Tazuna to the bridge. Naruto, I want you to stay here and protect Tazuna's family. They all nodded. Link Zabuza crushed an apple in his hand. Haku nodded happily. Most of his strength seemed to have returned. Excellent. Zabuza turned to Haku. Tomorrow. Haku smiled and nodded. He buried his concern for Naruto. I will do as Zabuza-sama's wish. Link break. As Kakashi, Hinata, and Kiba and Tazuna came to the bridge, they saw the workers were all down. What the hell? Tazuna shouted. This is it. The team formed a tight circle around Tazuna. Kakashi switched the radio to send Naruto, get to the bridge right now. I'm on my way, his voice answered. Four Sabzas landed around them. They were dispatched almost instantly. The clones became water and splashed down on the bridge. I didn't think that would work, Sabza called. Standing next to him was the same ninja in the mask they had seen before. You one shot, it looks like. Where's the blonde with the damn sword? Kakashi smiled. Don't worry, he'll be here in a minute, Zabza chuckled. Well then, all the more reason not to waste any time and deal with you while you're short-handed. Zabza nodded to his partner and then began to approach each of the one side of the bridge. While apart, Kakashi judged the situation and made a quick decision. Zabza is mine. You know how to deal with this partner. Kiba stay by Tauzuna's side and protect him no matter what. Right. Kiba pulled out his kunai and bore his teeth. Yes, Sensei. Hinata took a gulp and got moving. Her heart was beating fast. This was it. Her first real battle. I can do this. I have to do this. Tazuna and my team are depending on me. I won't let them down. Link break. The four clones that were on the guard duty were all well hidden. When they spotted the two samurais approaching, one swiftly took out his kunai and slashed his palm, causing him to disperse. The real Naruto immediately received the memory and understood the situation. He quickly got to Tazunumi and Inari. Please come with me. You need to hide. Ignoring their protest, he got them quickly hidden. The two samurais approached the front door with their swords ready out. They didn't hear anything. Checking the front door, they found it was unlocked. Quickly and quietly, they entered. They were soon in the living room. They then halted as they saw a young boy, who was obviously a ninja, standing there with a drawn katana. Hello, he said in a chipper voice. Can I help you with something? The two of them stepped apart and got into a sloppy fighting stance. Where's Tazunumi? Oh, I don't think she's the one you need to be worried about right now. I'll give the two of you a chance to surrender. Drop your swords and fall to your knees. The two of them laughed nervously. Is that a joke? One of them asked. You would think a little kid like you has the chance against us. Naruto then sent him a cold grin. I'm a ninja who has spent his life being trained for this kind of battle. You're just a couple of thugs with swords. Now, who do you think is in trouble here? The samurai who had spoken shook his head. Get real. We're not surrendering to a pinch-sized brat like you. Naruto shrugged. Fine. Then you can be number 9 and you can be number 10. Huh? That was his last words as sword pierced behind from him and bent out the first samurai's chest. His friends met a similar fate. Neither one had ever suspected there was a fear of clones behind them. Naruto had the clones take the bodies out so that Tsunemi and Inari would at least be spared the sight. There was nothing but he could do about the blood splatter all over the carpet, though dipping his sword into some blood, he wiped it off and hurried up to the stairs. As he holstered it, opening the stairs bedroom door, he found Tsunemi and Inari wrapped in her arms. It's over, but I think it would be best if the two of you went to our neighbors for a while. Do you have any friends you can stay with? Tsunemi nodded. Yes, we do. Don't bother packing. I'll escort you there and stay to protect you. But then the radio came to life. Naruto, get to the bridge right now. Kakashi's voice called. Naruto hit the button and said, I'm on my way. He looked back to the two. Looks like it's happening. I have to go, but my clones will stay to escort and protect you until I come back. Inari stared at him, his eyes weeping. You're really going to fight Naruto's men? Of course, but aren't you scared? The boy wailed as he trembled in his mother's arm. Naruto put a hand on the boy's shoulder and smiled at him. I'm scared. I'm always a little scared when I go into a fight, but even if I'm scared, you're scared. You have to fight the strength to do the right thing. That's what being a hero is all about. And just one more thing. With his other hand, he gently wiped the boy's tears from his cheek. Try not to cry anymore, except when you're happy. Now I have to go. The two of them watched him rush off the battle. Mom? Tazumi looked down at her son. He stopped trembling and didn't seem to be crying anymore. Yes, dear? He looked up at her. I want to be a hero, like Naruto and Daddy. Link break. I do not require your death, Haku spoke. If you would simply stand aside, then I would not be forced to harm you. And would you hurt Tazuna-san? He not asked. His life is forfeited. Haku answered simply, I won't allow that. She dropped into a joking fighting stance. I will protect Tazuna and my teammates. She already activated her Byakugan and was ready. Very well then. Haku rushed in and tried to end it in one move. Hinata was surprised as was the speed, but she was fast herself and with her Byakugan was able to adjust. As he attacked, she landed 3 strikes on his arm and a pair of his chest. Haku's eyes expanded as he felt his chakra system suddenly out of flux. He leaped back away from her. What did you do? Haku asked, alarmed. Zabuza had drawn his sword and was facing off Kakashi, but for the moment they were both willing to just eye each other and checking the progress of the teammates. Zabuza immediately realized what was happening. She's a Yuga, using a gentle fist. You cannot fight her directly, Haku. You're no match for her and that style. If you continue, she'll end up completely shutting down your chakra network. You know what you have to do now. Haku nodded. Just that one opening encounter had weakened him much more and he would not be able to use chakra He eyed her carefully. It seemed I have no choice but to use my strongest jutsu. He ran through some complex hand signs, secret art of water ice crystal magic, mirror technique. Water from the ocean rose up onto the bridge, and as they all watched, Hinata was surrounded by a series of flat ice mirrors that was suspended in the air. Haku calmly walked into one of the mirrors and seemed to melt into it. His image quickly appeared to be in all of them. Hinata looked about and felt just a little bit of panic. To her eyes, the mirror all seemed to hold the same amount of chakra. It was impossible for her to tell which of the images was real. Before I begin this, I would like to ask you a question. Your blonde teammate, by any chance, are you his girlfriend? She stared in surprise. Why would you care about that? I'm merely curious. Yes, I am. I'm Naruto's girlfriend. I'm very sorry, Naruto, but it is Sabusa's will. But with that, Haku began his work. For Hinata, the sunburn seemed to rain down on her. She moved and dodged as best as she could, but even with her bloodline fast moves, she couldn't avoid them all. She cried out as a number of them punched into her flesh. Hinata! Kiba yelled. Kiba, stay with Tatsuna. I'll help Hinata. Kakashi called, but as Kakashi moved to aid her students, Zabuza rushed in to get a swing at him. Kakashi dodged it easily, though it did cut his just a bit. He was forced to step away from where Hinata was. Oh, I don't think so, Zabuza laughed. Let's not forget I'm your enemy, Kakashi. If you get to help girl, I'll just slaughter the boy and the bridge bird. Damn it, Kakashi muttered. Fine then. He pulled out his Itate to reveal his Sharingan. Ah, the Sharingan again. How predictable. You know, I've had some time to think about how to fight you. Tell me, what does good your eye do if you're blind? He formed hand seals, hidden miss technique, and as he happened once before, a thick fog began to rise. Kakashi listened to Zabuza's laughter from somewhere within the fog. Hinata kept trying to dodge Haku's sandbones, but more and more sandbones were striking into her. There seemed no way to escape them as they continued to rain down mercilessly on her. If only I could do rotation, but I still don't have it down. More sandbones came at her, and she tried to dodge, but the sandbones in her legs were slowing her down. When Naruto got to the bridge, it was encased with the thick fog. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto cried out. Naruto, get to Hinata and help her. Hinata-chan, where are you? Over here, her voice answered. He followed the sound of her voice until he came to the dome made up of mirrors and Haku images on all of them. Looking between the mirrors, his heart skipped a beat. There in the middle of the dome was Hinata. She was huffing and covered in blood, and dozens of sandbones sticking out of her. Hinata-chan! And as she turned to answer, he could only watch as a pair of needles jabbed into her neck. She gasped and began to fall. Without a second thought, he raced in and managed just to catch her before she hit the concrete. Her eyes focused on her. Naruto-kun. She smiled at him. It's alright, Hinata-chan. I'm fired now. You'll be fine. She barely shook his head. No, I won't. With one hand, she reached up and gently touched his face. She was looking up at him with a peaceful expression. I'm so glad I got to see you one more time. Hinata-chan, don't be like that. He performed a technostic jutsu, one of his handful of medical jutsu he had actually been able to learn. And with that jutsu told him was that Hinata's heart was slowing, and so was her breathing. No. He pulled her into his arms. No, you're going to be alright. She simply smiled. I'm very glad I got to tell you that I loved you, and thank you for loving me, Naruto-kun. You made me happy every day. Don't talk to me like that, Hinata-chan. Please. He was crying. This can't be it. Not her. Kiss me, Naruto-kun. Kiss me just once more. And he did. He leaned and kissed her lips. Naruto looked content. I love you. She whispered and closed her eyes. Naruto saw her breathing stop and could not find a pulse. No. He howled and held her tight against him. Hinata-chan, I love you. Don't go. Don't leave me. I'm very sorry. A polite voice said from behind him. Why? He groaned out as he slowly and gently laid Hinata on the bridge. It was his will of Zabuza-sama, but I am truly sorry for your loss. Shut up. He could feel his anger rise up. He could feel hatred and rage all-consuming needs to take revenge. His body began to shake as his eyes changed. His teeth sharpened and grew. His scars grew thicker, and his hand became claws. The red chakra flowed out of his body. A single tail took form. I'm going to kill you. Both Zabuza and Kakashi felt it. The awesome amount of chakra and the evil that seemed to permit. Zabuza had no idea what it was. Kakashi knew instantly. He felt the same chakra on the night more than 12 years ago. Though then the chakra had been 100 times stronger. He looked in the direction where the chakra was coming from. He could still see nothing in the damn fog. Has the seal broken? No, but it has definitely weakened. He quickly pulled out a scroll, bit down on his thumb and separated the blood on his scroll. Listen, Zabuza, you're a busy man. I'm a busy man, and we both have things to do. What do you say we wrap this up in a move? Laughter came out of the fog. Sounds interesting. What do you have in mind? He performed a hand seal and slammed the scroll down. Earth style, Fang Vengeance technique. That's posturing. Will get you nowhere, Kakashi. You can't even tell where I am. Well, I know exactly where are you. Zabuza continued to laugh. His laughter died as his throat, as the concentrate all around him began to crack as split open from the bridge floor. Several dogs surrounded, leaped out, and sunk their teeth into him. No, he cried out. When your eyes and ears had let you down, you can always follow your nose. He smiled as he saw the fog was beginning to lift. When you cut me with your sword earlier, you got my blood on you. This technique is designed specifically for tracking that blood was all my pups needed to find you. He approached the now immobilized Zabuza. I believe I told you this once before. Your future is death. Link break. What is this power? Where did it supposed to come from? Haku leapt back into the mirrors. He immediately began to shower sunburns down at him. Is this power of the demon he has inside of him? Naruto merely stood up, not even bothering to try and dodge. He laughed, and it sounded nothing like the laughter of the boy he had met in the forest. His laughter was tinged with hatred. Is that the best you can do? Naruto was saying in a deeper and huskier voice as it had before. Haku quickly performed a jutsu. The air around Naruto was growing colder as a half dozen ice needles formed above him. They slammed down and shattered against the red chakra cloak. Hey Haku, we are friends, right? Naruto called. Yes, we are, Naruto. Naruto had a big smile. Then let me tell you something, friend. You have 1 minute left to live. And now Naruto moved with a speed that could barely be followed by the human eye. Half the mirror seemed to shatter in an instant. Haku realized this was too much for him. I have to try from one of the shattered mirrors. He leapt out in a vain attempt to stab Naruto with his sand ball, but Naruto caught him with ease. In one hand, he held Haku's right wrist and broke it with no effort. The other hand, he drew back for a punch. I cannot withstand this chakra anymore. Naruto punched him with all his might and sent him flying through the dome. The mask split and Haku bounced to a stop. The remaining mirror all dissipated. I have failed you, Zabuza-sama. I am a weak and broken tool, and of no use to you now. Before Haku could even get to his hands and knees, he was held by Naruto. Naruto held him in one hand up off his feet. His eyes were blazing red and filled with hatred. How did I bring such hatred out in such a decent person? In my whole life, he was the one only to offer me his friendship, even knowing what I was. How could I make him hate me so? The minute is almost up, Naruto said. He gathered red chakra and concentrated into his right fist. I have enough chakra in my hand to level a mountain. I won't leave anything of your head. And last words, Haku shut his eyes and ready to die. I'm sorry. Sorry. You're sorry. Sorry doesn't bring back Hinata-chan. I loved her and you killed her. Why? It was the will of Zabuza-sama. I'm not more than a tool. You're not a tool. You're a person. You made your choice. It was time to kill him, Haku nodded. That is true. I accept the responsibility for my choice. I deserve that. Not only because I failed Zabuza-sama, but because I have failed you. Please kill me now. What do you mean you failed me? You offered me your friendship, and in return I have inflicted this upon you. I should have known. Found some other way, even if we were enemies. Please know that your offer of friendship meant a great deal to me, and that you are my second precious person. Naruto stared at the boy. No, it doesn't matter. He killed Hinata-chan. Even if he feels the way, he has to pay for what he did. Yet Naruto held his fist where it was. He couldn't have said what he was feeling at the moment. Anger, sorrow, hatred, pity, all were a mad jumble inside with his heart. I lost Hinata-chan. She's gone forever. Damn it! Naruto slammed his fist in Haku's face. Linkberg, the man you're trying to kill is the heart and soul of this place. And the bridge he's trying to build is the land of only hope. You're willing to sacrifice this place and everyone in just to advance your own selfish ambition. This is not what a true shinobi does. Kakashi spoke. Spare me the philosophy lesson. I'm fighting for my own dreams, and I'm not about to stop. Zabuza said defiantly. Maybe not, but I'm going to stop you. In his palm, he began to focus chakra. What? I can see your chakra. This is my one and only original jutsu. It's called Chidori, 1000 birds. It's my ultimate finishing move, and now I'm going to use it to finish you. With that, Kakashi ran forward. Zabuza knew he was finished and hoped that Haku would survive. He did not beg or plead for mercy, for that was the shinobi way. Kakashi Chidori plunged into and obliterated his heart. Zabuza Mochi died like a true shinobi and like a man who lived his life out. The fog was gone and Kakashi was carefully approaching Naruto. The boy was surrounded by red chakra and was standing over his defeated opponent. Kakashi noticed that the other ninja was laying on the ground, unconsciously. Kakashi was much more interested in Naruto. Naruto turned around to face him. His eyes were red and they were crying. Kakashi noted the other changes. His teeth were longer, thicker, scarring, and his hands seemed to be becoming clawed. Naruto, are you alright? Kakashi asked rarely. He knew he had to be very careful. He had no idea just what shape the seal was in. No, Nissan, I'm not. Hinata-chan is dead. Kakashi gasped and looked to where Hinata was lying. Kiba, Tazuna, and Akamaru were already there. He could Here, both Kiba and Akamaru howling in despair. I couldn't even bring myself to avenge her. Naruto. I knew Zabuza was nothing special. While I turned to the short man in business suit in the end of the bridge. All around him were gathering a large crowd of mercenaries, obviously eager to blood. Is that Brad Haku still alive? I owe him a little something for what he did to my arm. Who wants to know? Naruto asked and began walking towards him. Kashi thought about telling him to stay but felt Naruto's killer intent, decided to just wait a bit. I'm Garo, the man in charge of this country. I want to thank you for reading me Zabuza, but now I'm afraid the bridge builder will have to go. Is that a fact? Naruto asked as he continued to walk towards him. A number of bandits rushed him and with a shot. Naruto didn't make a move towards them. He didn't have to. Long arms formed of red chakra cloak and that extended only to catch the men. Obeying Naruto, will the arm crush their chest and their heads like a ripe piece of fruit. 16. Naruto said calmly as the body dropped to the ground. What? Gato shouted suddenly, frightened. 16. Naruto repeated. That's how many of your men I killed. Naruto clarified. Alright. Gato spoke and began drifting back into the ranks of the men. They were suddenly not so eager to fight anymore. The mercenaries stood back and gave Naruto all sorts of room. Naruto just continued walking towards Gato. You have 1 minute to live, Gato. Naruto held out his palm and began gathering chakra into Rasengan. Gato looked around at the men desperately. What are you fools doing? Kill him! The men all seemed to shake their heads and continued to back away. Gato quickly found himself at the edge of the bridge, with Naruto looking towards him. Look, we can work this out. How about a million of you? No thanks. I came for money. Besides, isn't enough money in the world to buy back what I lost today. You got about 30 seconds left. Tell me all the people you killed, all the lives you ruined, all the misery you brought to this place. What kind did you need exactly extra money for? You were already a billionaire. What could you have wanted that you could already buy 1,000 times over? Gato started to open his mouth. I want to make more money, he said in a small voice. Naruto looked at him as if he were something slimy he found underneath the rock. Well, I hope it was worth it to you because your time is up. He lifted his hand and struck. Wait, Gato shouted as he held his hand up, pleading. I can give you anything you want. Name it. Money, power, women, anything. Naruto smiled. Anything? Anything. All right. Naruto said reasonably. There's one thing I want. If you can give that to me, I'll let you live. What is it? Bring Hinata-chan back, Naruto said as he slammed his hand on Gato's chest, his body exploding. Naruto tossed what was left of the man into the ocean and turned around. The bandits were all staring at him in absolute terror. If you want to leave, get the fuck out of the bridge and never come back. There was a boat tied up to the end of the bridge that had brought these men here. A couple of ladders led onto the bridge. These were already full of men eager to get away. The moment Naruto made this announcement, the men started leaping off the bridge and into the ocean. With Gato dead and their threat ended, Naruto was done. He let his anger go and with the red chakra also dissipated. He shuddered as the power left him as his body transformed back to normal. With the power gone, he felt suddenly weak. Just walking seemed to be all he was now capable of. Kakashi, Hinata, and Tazuna were waiting for him by Haku. Naruto, Kiba called out to him. Where did that power come from? A little awe and fear in his voice. I explain later, I promise. Naruto said dejectedly. Are you alright, Naruto? Kakashi asked. He looked where Hinata was. No, but I'll live, I guess. I'm never going to see her smile again, or hear her giggle, and dance with her. Oh, Hinata-chan. Kiba looked down at Haku and both Naruto and Kakashi could feel some killer intent. Haku's nose was broken and his face was bloodied and bruised. He didn't look pretty at the time. This guy kills Hinata. Kiba asked dangerously. Akamaru was also growling. Kiba, please don't hurt him. Naruto said quietly. Why not? Kiba looked at him in surprise. Because as stupid as it sounds, he's a friend of mine. Kiba stared at him. You made friends with this guy while you were fighting him? I'll explain later. I promise I'll explain everything later. Naruto said weakly. Hey, did we miss the fight? He turned around to see Inari with a crossbow in his hand as the crowd of large villagers. Inari, Tazuna called out. What are you doing here? The boy smiled. I decided I want to be a hero and do the right thing. So did everything else. Somebody else. His smile faded a little, but I guess I didn't get it in your time. Naruto smiled just a bit. It's okay. I think you and everyone else who came to defend your home are all heroes. The crowd cheered and celebrated at the end of the Gato and his regime of terror. Tazuna went to his grandson's side while the three surviving members of the Team 7 remained where they were. Haku slowly opened his eyes. He took a moment to realize that it was snowing. He looked up to see a familiar face looking at Naruto. You okay, Haku? Haku looked up in confusion. Why am I alive? Because I just don't have it in me to kill someone I consider a friend, even when they took away someone I love. Naruto answered tiredly. Zabuza-sama, he's dead. I am sorry for your loss. I know what he meant to you. Considering who Zabuza was and what he been trying to do, That seemed strange to say, but Naruto meant it. Kiba looked at him confused, but if he was hearing, he's so going to explain all of this later to me. Haku closed his eyes. She's in dead. Naruto, body stiffened. What? He knew it was impossible, but he couldn't help but suddenly hope. My last attack struck nerve points that put her in death-like state. She's alive and will probably wake up soon. Naruto, Kiba, and Kakashi were all staring down at him. If this is a joke, I'll kill you, Naruto said, meaning it. And it'll help this time. Kiba started. And Akamaru barked. The three of them hurried to where she was. Naruto knelt down by one side, Kiba on the other, and Kakashi knelt by Hinata's head. Naruto performed the diagnostic jutsu. Oh, please, Kami. Please, please, let this be true. He rested his hand on her belly. She's alive. Her heart is beating and she's breathing again. Naruto exclaimed. Thank Kami, Kiba shouted. Yes, thank Kami, Kakashi said quietly. It had almost happening again. He had almost lost another teammate, but thankfully this time it looked like everyone had survived. Ding break. Hinata slowly opened her eyes. She felt cold, and there was a snow falling down. Her eyes focused, and she saw the faces of her three teammates, all smiling down at her. Naruto-kun, she whispered. Am I dead? Is this heaven? He smiled at her. No, Hinata-chan. He gently pulled her up into his arms and held her tight. You're alive, my sweet Hinata-chan, you're alive. As Naruto held her, Kiba reached out and put his hand around both of them. Kashi leaned in and put his around all three of them. With an embrace, Team 7 celebrated their victory on the bridge, but much more important, they celebrated the fact that they all had survived. Hinata checked on her patient and smiled at him. Your wrist will be completely healed in about 2 weeks. Your other injuries aren't serious and will be totally healed soon. How do you feel? Haku looked up at her from her hospital bed. Why are you being so kind to me? He asked quietly. Hinata smiled at him. Because you are hurt and I want you to get better. Haku shook his head. I was your enemy. Why should you care? You're not my enemy anymore and I don't blame you for being on the other side, Hinata said. Naruto was also in the room. I think you'll find that a lot of people do not hold a grudge if you really are sorry for what you did. May I speak with you alone, please? Would you mind, Hinata-chan? Asked Naruto. Of course not. As she began to leave, Naruto put his hands around her and pulled her into a hug. She giggled a bit. You know, it's really alright, Naruto-kun. I'm fine, she assured him. I know that, Hinata-chan. I just like holding you and having you remind me you're here. She giggled again. You're silly. She gave him a quick kiss and left the room. Naruto turned happily to the patient in the bed. Thank you again for what you did. I will always be in your debt, Haku. Haku shook his head. Please do not thank me for forcing you to suffer and anguish that you felt. It doesn't matter if I suffered. All that matters is that Hinata-chan is alive and well. Why didn't you tell me that during our fight I almost killed you? Zabuza-sama always taught me to kill when it was necessary. In his eyes, what I had done was weakness, and I was ashamed of it. Also, seeing the pain I had inflicted on you, I felt I had no right to ask for mercy. Haku paused. I wish you had killed me. Don't say that, Naruto said sharply. I knew you missed Zabuza, but you are young and have a good life ahead of you. As what? Broken too? He said sadly. You're not a tool, Haku. You're a person. A human being. All ninjas are but tools to be used. When Zabuza rescued me, he told me that I belonged to him, mind, body and soul. Now that he's gone, I am nothing. Again, I am alone. Again, I am a superfluous, unwanted and shunned. Haku shivered at his memories. That is much better than to live like that. You're not alone. You have a friend standing right here. I am your friend. I care about you, Haku. Haku looked at him. I was not strong enough to be a worthy tool to Zabuza. I would not be, but for you either. Good. Haku looked surprised. I don't want you to be a tool to me. I want a friend. Naruto went to his besides. Look, Haku, we are shinobi, and that means we must be ready to do anything hard, things including killing or die for the ones we serve and love. But we will never stop being humans. Even in those moments when we must be hard and cruel, we remain all too human. If you really just want to go through life as someone else's tool, I can't help you because I can't be anyone's owner. But if you want a place where people will care about you and where you will always be wanted, then I can give you that one. That I promise. Haku looked at him with a bit of fear and a bit of hope. Really? Naruto nodded. When my team leaves here, you are welcome to come back to us with Konoha. You'll be welcome to stay and with me and my mom. Wait, what if your mother does not like me? Naruto chuckled. I think you're underestimating how nice you are, Haku. Besides, as soon as I will tell her you're the reason Hinata is alive, she'll love you in an instant. Naruto sounded very certain. I fought against you and your team, Haku protested. So, my mom's a ninja. She'll understand that you had a duty and personal obligations to Zabuza. Naruto gave him a big smile. What do you say? Want to come back with me and have a real home? Haku thought about it for a moment and slowly nodded. I would like that. Link break. So what is this about, Kiba? Asked. Team 7 had gotten back to the Tazuna's residence. Currently, Tazuna, Tsuzumi, and Inari were all in town enjoying a massive and spontaneous celebration. The whole town was celebrating Kato's untimely demise and the end of the Regime of Terror. His team had been invited to join, but Naruto had asked to talk to them first. Well, Naruto spoke up. There are a few things I need to talk to you about. First off, I invited Haku to come back with us to Konoha and stay at my home. What? Kiba asked. The guy almost killed your girlfriend and you're going to be roomies with him? Kiba-kun, Naruto asked firmly. Haku could have killed me easily. He chose to not let me live. I have nothing against him. You shouldn't be either. Kiba grumbled a bit, but he seemed upset. Are you sure about this, Naruto? Have you really thought through this? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. I have, Kakashi-sensei. I consider Haku to be a friend and he is all alone now. He needs a place where he is wanted and I wish to give him that. And what is the downside? I gained a friend and the village game's a damn good ninja. Kakashi thought about it. Well, he likely doesn't have any bounties on him. You would have to get approval of the Hokage for him to become a Leaf Nin, and you'll have to convince your mother to let him stay with you. Naruto nodded. I'm sure they'll both be okay with it. Naruto? Who the hell do you make friends so fast? Kiba asked. Naruto took a deep breath. Well, you see, he detailed the previous meeting with Haku. He was not really surprised to see they were all frowning at him. Even Hinata. Naruto, Kakashi said sharply. You made contact with an enemy ninja and didn't tell us about it. I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi shook his head. I don't really fault you for not attacking him or even for talking with him. Though if you do this in the future, you will need to be very cautious. Now what I do have a problem with is you keeping this meeting secret from all of us. You should be able to trust your teammates with anything. I know that, Kakashi-sensei. He took a deep breath. That's why I've decided to tell them about my big secret. Big secret, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Kakashi looked at him in surprise. Naruto, I wasn't referring to that. I know, but I wanted to tell them. I trust both of them with my life, and I think it's only fair that you know the whole truth about me. Kiba looked down at him. Does this have something to do with the insane amount of power you had? Naruto nodded glumly. It sure does. He hesitated a bit before telling them. He really did trust them both in his life. He expected they would both understand, but even if they didn't, well, it would definitely hurt but not destroy him, even though people who knew the truth were accepting of him. He understood that he was not a monster. He was almost understood that some people would never accept that many people saw him the way and hated him do not make it so. Before I start, what I have to tell you remains a secret. You cannot speak of it. Do you understand? He waited for both of them to nod. Alright, I have to really tell you about what really happened the night of the Kyuubi attacked the village. And he told them the truth of how his father saved the village and of the price of the celebration. You're the Kyuubi? Kiba asked in amazement. Naruto shook his head. No, I'm the Kyuubi's jailer. As you saw, I can tap in some of its power and when I'm really angry, but I'm not the Kyuubi. Hinata immediately came forward and glommed onto him and pressed her head against his chest. Of course you're not. You're Naruto-kun. It doesn't matter what's inside of you. She glared fiercely. Thanks, Hinata-chan, he said, very glad that she understood. Kiba smiled. Heh, well, I always knew you were a badass. Now I knew you just how much of a one you are. Naruto looked at him. So you're okay with this? Kiba nodded. You're a part of my pack, Naruto, and Inuzuka never abandons his pack. Akamaru barked an agreement. Naruto let out a very deep sigh of relief. Oh, Hinata-chan, I just remembered something. He reached into one of his pouches and pulled out a dried flower. Could you press this for me, please? She took the flower and smiled. It's a white carnation. These are supposed to be good luck. He nodded. I know, I'm going to keep this one as a good luck charm. He smiled at her. I figured it helped me get through today. It must be a whole lot of luck in it left. As this is where I'm going to be leaving off this part, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, guys, this is Apollo Uchiha and I'm signing out. Peace.